Thank you, ma'am, for inviting me as a guest speaker over this topic. So, our topic is agriculture and its innovation techniques in beekeeping. Apiculture and its innovation techniques in beekeeping. So, without any further delay, let's just start our topic. First of all, the topic is going to be covered in three parts: the introduction or the beekeeping part with its components, secondly, its methods, and third, its formulation and the techniques which are being done for the past 2 or 3 years, which is served as an innovative approach towards beekeeping. So, thank you, ma'am. I'll start my topic. Uh, is the screen visible, ma'am? Is the screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Thank you, ma'am. So, apiculture. Apiculture is basically beekeeping, which means the maintenance of honeybee colonies by humans in order to collect several products such as honey, bee wax, propolis, honey venom, etc., or bee venom, popularly called as. So, apiculture is a Latin term in which api means bee, cultures mean cultivation. And the apiculture is being set up in a particular component which is known as apiary, and the apiary is being set up in a field which is known as bee yard. So before going into deep, we just need to know the terminology, in which we need to know the kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. The kingdom is Animalia, phylum Arthropoda, class Insecta, order Hymenoptera, family Aphidae, genus Apis. Till now there is no confusion as per I think. If you guys need any kind of breakup of this components, you can let me know in the comment section. Second is history. So apiculture is practiced early as from the 13,000 BC. And in India, this movement or the beekeeping movement is being hastened by the Khadi and Village Commission in 1980s. There are certain species which are being cultured for this honey purpose. And among this, I have mentioned this four species among there. And there is one another species which I let you know about. And this is one of the commercially grown species which are not only grown for the honey purpose. So from the first, there is Apis dorsata, the rock bee. This is the largest honeybee in size as compared to the other bees. It builds large open combs with high tree branches, and the yield from this is very huge. And second is Apis serena indica, or popularly known as Apis indica. This is a medium-sized Indian bee which forms several parallel combs, cavities in tree branches, and also formed in the type of earthen pots. These bees are domesticable. That means they are not that ferocious and can be domesticated for the production of honey. Third is Apis florea. It is the smallest bee in this genera, and it builds very small single comb in the bushes and hedges. And the honey yield or the yield of honey is very much poor as it is being produced in very small quantities. Four is Apis mellifera, the European honeybee. The largest commercial honeybee used for the production of honey is this Apis mellifera. This has been also introduced in several other countries, including India also. It is a most domesticated honey, and its behavior is very much good towards the cultivation of honey. And the last species is, I need everyone to note this. This is a dammer species or dammer honeybee. This dammer honeybee, also known as Melipona aridiponis. I think all of you guys have watched the Khatro Ke Khiladi show. In that type of show, the honeys which are used are stingless honey. This honey, although doesn't fall in the category of Mellifera, Apis category, this honeybee falls in the category of Dammer species or Melipona iridipanis. They form irregular combs, and the yield of honey from this is very much poor. Second, we should know about the bee colony. I think I do not need to explain this because all of us know that there are three types of honeybees: worker, drone, and queen. But we need to know a little bit about this. Queen bee is the most ferocious among the group, and it is the only fertile female in the colony. She is the largest in size, no wax gland, live for 3 to 4 years, and may lay egg at the rate of 1500 to 2000 per day. So by this you can understand how much the reproductive rate in queen bee. The second is drones. Drones are the male members of the colony. Drones can live up to 60 days Sting and wax gland absent, developed from unfertilized egg. The sole duty of drone is to fertilize the virgin queen. I need to show a certain video of mating after I complete this slide so that you can know the mating process among drones and queen bees. I'll show the video later. Worker bee have developed sting and hind legs, also known as pollen basket for collecting pollen. They perform different duties depending upon their age, which are as follows. And in the worker bee, there are three categories from day 1 to day 14, in which they serve as a cleaning agent or the cleaning the hive, cleaning the larva, etc. And from day 14 to 20, they act as a guard, which guards the entrance of the hive. And from day 21 to 35, they collect the nectar and pollen from the surrounding. So according to the days they are, they serve the type of work they have. Third is life cycle and development. I am talking about this slide. At the time when the virgin bee is 7 days old, the bee comes out from the hive or the hole and serves as a mating partner among the drones. There are 3 to 4 drone bees which serves as a partner in the flight to mate the queen in order to make it fertile or to make the copulation happen. So the queen has the ability to control the lilies of from the sperm theca. I'll show you a video in YouTube so that you can have a clear perception how this works. So this is the queen bee, and among them there are 3 to 4 drones, and among that only a certain drone is able to fertilize the egg. So the in and all this happens in the midair during the flight. So this is the drone bee, and this is the queen bee, and here the copulation occurs. And it is that much intense that after the copulation occurs, the drone bee falls from that height and collapses and generally serves to death. And among the 3, 4, only one is able to fertilize the queen bee. So I think that you will guys have a clear idea after that. And this whole process is known as nuptial or marriage flight. So now we come to the methods of beekeeping. The methods of beekeeping can be divided into 2 types, the indigenous type and the modern types. In indigenous types, there are far more categories, which I'll explain to you. In this, the wall or fixed type, it is purely natural type of comb because bees prepare the hive themselves on the wall or trees. I think you all guys have watched this in the tree trunk, in the leaves. They have formed small fixed hive, which is being served as a source of pollen for the general beekeepers, and the movable hive, the wooden frame, which are now being used as a commercial honey cultivation process. And this is one of the main components in which the beekeepers stores all the cluster swarms from the trees and transfer them to the wooden racks in which the hexagonal combs are already been made. There is no need of the honeybee to make the hexagonal comb-like structure. These are already been artificially prepared by the beekeepers in that wooden racks, in which the honeybees are being transferred from that swarms and clustered and directly put it into the wooden racks for further honey production. The modern method of apiculture involve 5 methods. I need all of you guys to note it that typical movable hive, queen excluder, honey extractor, uncapping knife, and other equipments. And in this, you can see the modern beehives are designed based on bee space theory, which has been given by L.L. Langstroth in 1851. Bee space is the optimum distance to be left in between two adjacent combs surface in a beehive, which is essential for normal movement and functioning of bee. So what are the parts of movable hive? There are 7 parts of a movable beehive, which you need to understand in order to become a beekeeper or apiary setup in anywhere in the world. So the first part is stand. To support the bottom board, we need to provide a stand. The bottom board forms the proper base for the bee hive having an entrance for the bee. The third is brood chamber. The chamber is used for rearing of brood. Frames are placed in the chamber of which bees raise combs. The fourth is queen excluder. Perforated zinc sheet assembled in such a way that the worker can pass through it, the drones can pass through it, but the queen cannot. As the queen is in larger size, a little bit larger from the drones and the workers, the perforated zinc sheets are made in such a way that they only allow a small hole in which the queens, except the queen, the drones and workers can pass through. The super, it is being provided with many frames containing combs, foundation to provide additional space for expansion of hive. Suppose we need a little bit of expansion in which the super comes in contact or the super comes in serve. So that's what the function of super is. Inner cover, a board which acts as a partition between brood or super chamber and the root. It is a partition between the brood and super chamber. The top cover, a type of leaf acting as a roof, placing over inner cover. So it is a lead that acting as a roof placed over inner cover. So you can identify which are the parts. Queen excluder it is. It is cream bottom brood, hive stand, standard brood, queen excluder, medium depth, shallow super, inner cover, telescoping outer cover. Telescoping outer cover means the top cover. So there is no need for confusion. The second is comb foundation milk, used to print natural cell size of desired comb foundation seed. It is used to form the hexagonal comb-like structure in the wooden racks. The second is bee wheel. It is the protective covering which are being wear by the beekeepers when they are going for rearing and cultivation of bee. The smoker used to calm down the bees while operating the hive. So these are used a few minutes before when the bees are need to be reared or the cultivation of honey should start by the beekeepers. And here is another one, uncapping knife. Large size knife used to uncap the frames from the honey extraction. So there is a rectangular wooden frame, and to uplift that, we need one uncapping knife. So we need to put that uncapping knife here, and we need to leave that. And after that, whatever the wax or whatever the frames are, we need to scrap the whole thing by the use of scrapping knife or uncapping knife. The last or the last one, I think it's the last one. So the last one is the honey excluder. So this is a hole like a can or a cylinder, you can say, with an open mouth in which it works on the principle of centrifugal force, in which the wooden racks are being put inside the wooden box or the aluminum or metal box, and the whole thing just swirl around and in a circular motion in the principle of centrifugal force, and the honey are being collected in the walls of the can. So what are the products that we can get from beekeeping? Obviously, the first product is honey. The bees produce honey from nectar. So honey has been prepared by collection of nectar from different types of plant and through the enzymatic activity and regurgitation and water evaporation by the honeybees. So honey, I didn't think I need to tell that honey are being used in several food products and several other products, including medicines. So we need to see the composition. In this, it contains dextrose 21.28% and maltose and other sugar 8.81%. And enzyme pigment 2.21% and water 17.20% and with a levulose content of 38.9%. Second is bee wax. So bee wax is being secreted by the wax gland located on the underside of the last four abdominal segment, 4 to 7 of the worker bees. So these are the wax which are also being used in making candles. In I know several other foundations in Sundarban. I think that you guys know about the Sundarban place, which is famous for the Royal Bengal tigers and is one of the largest bioreserve centers. So in the Sundarban, there are certain groups known as Madhuban. The organization name is Madhuban, it's not a place. So they used to prepare wax like candles in the structure of hexagonal like structure, just like this. Just like this one, they are preparing honey wax candles, and they are selling at a very cheap rate. And these are totally organic, and you can have it through their numbers. You can search it on the internet also. I need, I also need certain things. Even I have contact also about these things. So after that, this beeswax are being used for candles, as I've said, also used in creams and lotion, and also serves as a base of the foundation of comb. This hexagonal structure in which the honey has been stored, these are already being formed by the beeswax. The royal jelly, it is one of the expensive products which you can get from the honeybees. It is the glandular secretion of young worker bees, old from 4 to 10 days, produced by the hypopharyngeal gland in the head. It is also used in treating several other diseases in humans, including diabetes, osteoporosis, etc. It also helps in healing wounds and boost immunity. It contains several nutritive contents which helps an human being in a huge way, and it's very much expensive in compared to honey and other bee products such as the bee wax. Bee venom. The most expensive thing you can have from bee from honeybees is the bee venom. It that much expensive that you can compare that only uh, what I should say, only 1 gram of bee venom is 7,000 rupees. And right now, in today's value, in 1 gram of gold in my country, in India, is of approx 6,000. By that, 1 kg of bee venom is 70 lakh. So you can calculate the value, how much expensive this is. Bee venom is bitter, colorless liquid containing protein, which causes local inflammation. Bee venom is given as a shot for rheumatoid arthritis, nerve pain, multiple sclerosis, desanitizing the people allergic to bee stings. So by this, you can understand its function. It has been used in several medicinal purposes and in treating several diseases in humans as well as in animals also. And it is one of the expensive product in the cultivation of beekeeping. And a good quality or good yield of bee venom is being profound in global state also. Our India has been exporting uh, a good percentage of bee venom from our country to the other states also. Propolis. It is a resinous mixture, also known as honeybee glue, by which the honeybee produces it by mixing saliva and bee wax with exudate gathered from tea buds. It is being used by the bees to seal unwanted spaces in beehives and also been treated in the curing of curb and throat infection. Maximally, the honeybee products are used in disease and other medicinal properties, also been used in the cosmetic industries, and is very much useful in treating diseases to an extent. So, bees' enemies and diseases. First is wax moth, Galleria monellella. These caterpillars live in the silken tunnels made by the bees found on the propolis, pollen, and wax in the combs. Second is wasp. Wasp is the general enemy or the local enemy, which you can say to the honeybees. It waits near the entrance of the hive, catches bees as they come out, and macerate them for feeding the juice to its young ones. That means they wait near the holes of the beehives, and whenever a bee just goes out of the hive, they catch that and they tear them up and feed that juice to their young ones. To their young ones means the wasps which are young. That the young ones means the young ones of wasps, not the young ones of bees. So there's no need to be confused among this. Other enemies as wax beetle, birds, ants, etc. They are the general predators. These are the disease the honeybee can suffer through. Acarine, causative agent Acaris woody, infests the tracheal system of bee. This is the same process by which the Bacillus thuringiensis enters the larva of Lepidopteran insects. So the same mechanism goes through it. The disease name is different, but the mechanism in which the Acaripis woody serves the tracheal system of bee and forms a perforated hole in the gut. The same system is this. Voraces or Vorera destructor sucks the hemolymph of bees. The third is American foul brood Bacillus larvae, death of bee larvae. This bacteria directly affect the bee larva and causes the death of larva. Nosema, Nosema apis, destroys the stomach cells and interferes with digestion. Ultimately, stop the metabolism of bees and makes them suffer and starve until they are prey to the death. Wait. CCD, colony collapse disorder. CCD is the phenomena that occurs when the majority of worker bees in a colony disappear and leave behind a queen, plenty of food, and few nurse bees to care for the remaining immature bees and the queen. Here, nurse bees are the worker bees. You need to understand that. So, this phenomena happens when the worker bees left the colony with a plentiful supply of foods and leaving behind the queen and the remaining immature bees and the queen. The disorder caused great economic loss because bees plays an important role in the pollination of many agricultural crops. Several possible causes of CCD, colony collapse disorder, includes such as infection of varroa and acaripis mites, malnutrition, genetic factors, immunodeficiencies, etc. Agencies involved in apiculture in India are Agriculture Products Export Development Authority APEDA under the aegis of Ministry of Commerce and Industry helps to promote export of honey. And under this agency's guidance and supervision, the Mukhyamantri Madhu Vikas Yojana has been propounded. This Yojana serves as a subsidiary benefit to the farmers and takes up to 80% of the cost of the apiary setup. The bees will be given 80% cost amount or rupees 1,600 per bee colonies to raise 500 bee colonies. So this is one of the subsidiary or the schemes by the government which helps and beekeeper to accumulate and serve as a apiary setup in India to commercialize the beekeeping cultivation and to go on or continue this traditional system. Second is National Bee Board, NBB, under the Ministry of Agriculture has contributed to the overall development of scientific beekeeping and research in India. The Central Bee Research and Training Institute in Pune provide training to beekeepers. I am talking about this Khadian village movement in 1980s, which hastened the movement of cultivation of beekeeping, cultivation and beekeeping management and training in India. So these are the states in which it has been profoundly found. North, Delhi, South, Andhra Pradesh, East, Bihar and West Bengal, West. And I'm from West Bengal. I know the whole scenario of cultivation of apiary or cultivation of honey. It's not that good, but it's in overall, it is very much significant from the other states. Last is West. Here are the charts in which you can understand the figures. The figures are generally increasing from 2001 to 2011. And these are the top exporters. China. India is in third last position. China, Germany, Mexico, Brazil, Spain, Hungary, India, Canada, Vietnam. So these are our PPT. I need to mention certain more things by which you can understand. So many of us can identify this crystallization process in honeybee. So this is one of the major concerns. Many of us think, I don't know how many of you have been checked that after buying one honey of Dabur or Saffola or Patanjali, after certain 1 or 2 months, when you left that honey in that intact case, there is a two-layer of separation, one on the upper side and one on the middle lower side. By that thing, many of them said that this is the adulterated product or the sugar solution product. I know that the honeybees which are being marketed by the name of big brands or the big heads of such as Saffola, Patanjali, Dabur makes their sugar solution infused in that honey. It's not pure. I also know that, but it's not only the reason that they are settled in two different layers in that simple intact container. Crystallization can occur in normal way also. Glucose is the least soluble component of all the sugars of honey and it is super saturated. and that's what causes crystallization. So the crystallization or the separation of two layers in that intact case of honey doesn't define that is adulterated or not. You need to check that whether there is a mixing of sugar serum with the proper honey, or it is because of the crystallization process of the glucose, because glucose is the least soluble substance in the honey. So that also causes crystallization. So this is the main fact which I need to tell you guys. And this is Dr. Nanda. And after telling something about him, I'll tell you what he is holding in his hand. So he is Dr. Nanda. So he is from the Punjab Agriculture University. He is one of the profound and renowned scientist and beekeeping expert, I must say. And from his workshop and several other workshops from which I have attended, I have gathered knowledge about beekeeping and several other products or the innovative approach by which you can turn this beekeeping into a most successful commercialized products in India. And I need to mention the uh, formulations of India. So here are the formulations. So FSSI standards. The formulations mean the FSSI standards in India. In India, the formulation standard is 5%. I don't know whether you guys have a basic knowledge of which is the best honey in the world. I need to tell you guys so that you can have a clear perception about what is the best honey and why our honey is not the best. So the best honey is the Manuka honey, which is being produced in New Zealand. It contains certain molecular markers and parameters with certain medicinal properties which makes him the best in the world globally. So in that honey, the sucrose amount is 12%. I repeat, the sucrose amount is 12%. And in India, the standards mentioned by FSSI is, you can see, the FSSI has fixed maximum 5% of sucrose content in honey. It means that whatever honey, whatever whatever nutrition content it has, whatever medicinal properties it, they don't judge you on the basis of that. They only judge you on the basis of the sucrose content. Suppose I have Manuka honey, it has several content, nutritive content is very much important. It has several nutritional values, but it has 12% sucrose content, which is far more used than the FSI standard, Food Safety Standard of India. By that, this Manuka honey, which has been globally accepted and one of the trusted and considered medicinally best honey in the world, is not fitted according to our standard. But our honey, which has a 5% less sucrose content, is standard as the best honey in India. So these are the formulations which serves as an avoidance or a hindrance to our adulteration, adulteration techniques in India. So this can be served as an hindrance to the honey production. I think you can have a clear idea that why our honey is adulterated and why the honey which is being produced in the global states or global countries is not that adulterated. Because the sucrose content which is found in our country is 5%. They are serving the judgment on the basis of sucrose content, not only seeing the medicinal properties. And one more thing, they only parameter of, I am talking about molecular markers. There are certain molecular markers which are the judgment basis, serves as the markers of honey production. Only 1,000 markers are being identified. There are several other honeys in India also, which are not being listed in the molecular markers. Suppose that honey are being listed in the molecular markers, then we also have a chance that our honey should be considered as one of the best honey in the world somewhere in the nearly 5 to 10 years. But we need to identify that molecular markers. So what are the parameters? What are the judgment? On the basis of that, our honey should be judged. Not only on the sucrose content, but also on the content of nutritive value, medicinal purposes, and several other parameters. So here are more formulations by, in the case of monofloral honey, the regulator said the minimum pollen content of the plant species concerned should be not less than 45% of the total pollen count. And in the case of multifloral honey, monofloral honey means the honey which is being taken by the collection of nectar from only single species or single flower species. And in multifloral honey, the pollen content is a mixture of several other nectar taken from different species of flowers. The pollen content of any of the plant species should not be exceed 45%. So by this, you can have a clear idea of what are the formulations are being mentioned by the food safety standard of India, which are totally different from the global standard. And lastly, I need to mention the innovative approach. Let me show you the most innovative approach. I don't know how many of you guys know that honeybee is being used as the digital sensor. So honeybees can also be used for the past 2 to 3 years. The experimentation is going on by which honeybee can be used as a digital sensor. I recommend you guys truly to watch this video. Search it as honeybee as a digital sensor. In this system, they are doing nothing. They are putting honeybee in a suited case with a computerized algorithm system in which they put the smells of several other nectars in terms of the work honeybee has given to them. Now you ask me what work? The honeybee can be served as a digital sensor for bombs. I'm not joking. I'm telling you seriously that honeybee are being used digital sensor for identifying or relocating bombs or certain products such as cocaine, which are generally found as a smuggling object in airports, planes, marine drives, etc. So honeybee are being used in pouch boxes with fitted algorithm and computerized systems in such a way that they are being used as digital sensors in order to identify and allocating bombs and several other products like cocaine, heroin, etc. Second is there is one company. You can also get that video from YouTube. There is one company known as B Hero, which has made an object or a component which is the size of a palm. It is being put in the apiary setup in the bee yard. It has mentioned that it is for those consumers or the beekeepers who need to monitor the components of beehive, who have a large amount of beehive, large bee yard, and they need to maintain or monitor the same at the same time simultaneously. So according to that, if one farmer goes to each and every field, it's not possible. It is hazardous and it is a lot more complicated. So in order to reduce that stress, they made one simple component, and the company is B Hero. I don't remember that it is from Netherlands or New Zealand, but most probably it is from Netherlands, I guess. The company name is B Hero. They have made a component which uses computerized AI and algorithm-based technology in which they collect all the data from the bee. They all served as a component in which they stimulates and monitors the system and patterns of bee behavioral system, and all gather the information in that component and put the signal in that beehive, and from that they receive the signals that their bee are doing this, the movements are this, and according to the algorithm they have served or collected from the past 10 years from that bee behavioral pattern, they mention that this is the present condition of the bees in the phone of the user. By the use of this component in the beehive, the user get all the information in his phone, that what are their bees doing, what is the climate, what is the humidity, what is the pressure percentage, what are the behavioral patterns right now in the beehive, is there is any threat, is there is any causing threat, is there anything that need to be prevent, that need to be serve as a preventive measure, is there anything the bee needs, including their diet, including their feed, including their opening or closing of the combs, including any damage, anything is being reported directly to the user by that company. It is, I have mentioned two innovative approach by which you can commercialize it in India and have a huge scale. And this can also be helped by the government under the Sweet Revolution, or in Hindi it is known as Sweet Kranti movement. So under that, you get certain beneficiaries or subsidies on that component. So honeybees can be used as digital sensors. Second, digital sensors can be used as a monitoring device in the beehives for the cultivation of honey. Third is using honeycomb structure. I don't know how many of you have carefully observed. This is the honeycomb structure, the hexagonal structure, the hexagonal comb-like structure. This hexagonal structure is an intrinsic design which is being used by many of the scientists in reforming certain walls, pillars, buildings, even in badminton shoes also. I don't know how many of you guys have carefully monitored our badminton players, Lee Chuang Wei, or they use a certain type of shoes, and under their shoes there is honeybee grip. They call it honeybee shoes or honeybee grip. Why they call this honeybee grip? Because the hexagonal combs are being attached to it. They causes huge suction because they sleep on the floor. The floor is very much slippery in which they place, and that shoes only help them to uh, su- uh, create a huge suction force so that they didn't sleep in the court. And this hexagonal structure is proven scientifically as one of the structured system that provides strengthening with the use of minimum raw materials and giving an optimized space. That's why these hexagonal structures are being made by the honeybees, in which they use very much less raw materials and optimize space for the formation of honey. So this honeybee or the honeycomb structure is being used in aircraft also, in aerospace engineering also, buildings also, pillars also, badminton shoes also, and several others. So these are the three approaches I have tell you till now. The fourth approach is this honeybee products, such as honey spoons. I don't know how many of you guys has tasted the popsicles or chocky chocky. In that, there are several other companies who has been made the honey spoon. In that spoon, you need to open the wrap and you need to just lick the honey, the raw honey, the pure honey. So by this, they have developed honey spoons, popsicles, honey chocolate jams, honey ginger and lemon fused jams. These are the products. Honey hazelnuts jam, honey hazelnut pickle. So these are the components which has a huge market, but the amount of users started in India is very much less. So I need all of you guys to focus on that and to make a huge impact by taking the subsidiary actions of the government and several other beneficiaries under the movement of Sweet Kranti or Mukhyamantri Madhu Vikas Yojana, and to start your own startup. The last is the commercialization of the bee venom. In previously, I have told you that bee venom is one of the costliest thing which you can get by the cultivation of honey or by the setup of apiary. It is the bee venom. You can generally think that bee venom we should get in milligrams, but not in liquid form. You get in milligrams. You have thought it right, but you can get it in granular forms. By means of granular form, you can get in powder form. The bee venom is one of the costliest thing, and it is used highly in medicinal industry and the cosmetic industry. It 1 gram approx value is 7,000. If we compare it to 1 gram to the 1 gram of gold price, in today's value it is 59629 or approx 6,000. 1 gram gold is 6,000 and 1 gram bee venom is 7,000. By this, you can understand how much margin you can get by the cultivation or the rearing or the collection of bee venom. So there is a huge market. By this, I have told you that these are the 5 approaches. Honeybee can be used as digital sensors. Digital sensors can be used as the monitoring devices in apiary. Third is development of products such as hazelnut, jams, etc., pickles, each and everything. Fourth is honeybee structure in the use of buildings, several art products, badminton shoes, aerospace engineering, buildings, etc. Fourth is collection and commercialization of good quality bee venom. So these are the approaches which I need to mention, and these are the formulation and overall gathered information by me. on the beekeeping, on apiary setup, and honey production. So if you have any questions, so let me know. I am free to give you answers. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Subhajit, for the detailed presentation. Now I will take up some questions. Okay. So the first question is, what are some new tools that have proven effective in modern beekeeping?
Okay, ma'am. So basically, the tools which are proven effective in modern beekeeping are the components which I have mentioned you earlier. They are the honey extractor, queen extruder, and several other protective components which are being used or used by the beekeepers in the honey production, including the honey knife or the uncapping knife or pruning. We also said scrapping knife. So these are the equipments, and beside that, there are several other equipments which are being used as a protective measures by the beekeepers in the honey production, which also include gloves, net, brushes, protective garments, and also several tools for scrapping the honey from the honeycomb. And beside that, one more thing which I need to mention, I have mentioned about the molecular marker. It has also been proven effective by several other scientists that it is the upcoming tech or the upcoming innovations by the certain young scientists. There have also been recently 3 or 4 molecular markers identified on new honeys, and they have been enlisted and recorded by our Ministry of Agriculture and Development. So these are the things which have been proven effective now and in the future of honey production. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Subhajit, you can stop sharing the screen so that we can see your full video.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, stop. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So next question is, how can beekeepers adapt to changing environmental conditions using innovations?
Uh, Beekeepers should change according to the programs which are being mentioned by the government. So they should have a proper. I know that it is not being possible in just a few months, but then there should be certain extension workers. As per I think, even I am also pursuing B.Sc agriculture. I am also in second year. Whatever knowledge I have gathered till now by attending the workshops as well as seminars, symposiums, etc. Even I have attended 45 days training on beekeeping and bee culture, honey production also. Even that, under that, I have deep felt will that the farmers should get an extension service from the government. I know that there are several other extension services which are being provided by the government under the honey production or the Yojana, Mukhya Mantri Honey Vikas Yojana and NHBP, Mini Mission 1, Sweet Kranti, Mini Mission 2. These are already been subsidized, which provide extension services and provide a lump sum amount to the honey honeybee producers or the beekeeper popularly. But there is certain need to provide extension services expert to be implemented in each district, or a group of districts should have a 2 to 3 expert so that they can make them think that what are the possible outcomes or what are the possible profit margin ratio you should get if you are not going to adapt with the changing environment. In this environment also plays a crucial role. And not only environment, there are several other expertise which have been developed by the scientists, but that expertise or the expertise system are not being readily available to the farmers. So in that, there's a huge gap in which the extension workers should come into contact to form the bridging gap between the changing adaptability of the farmers with the new available technologies. So
Okay. Okay. And are there user-friendly technologies for beginners in beekeeping?
so as per I think there is this whole beekeeping is user friendly. There is nothing to be uh, as a huge rocket science. you need to understand what are the behavior of bees. Not only the behavior of bees, you need to understand what are the commercial varieties which are being mainly used in our country. Our country mainly uses Apis mellifera or the European bee variety, and very few areas uses Apis serena indica or the Indian bee variety. Because the Apis mellifera is one of the commercialized bee and has the most perfect domesticable behavior. And after that, if you know this basics, then you need to understand what are the good apiaries or the good KVKs which provide training on them. Even our government also provided 4 days or 5 days training, and they pay 400 to 500 rupees per beekeeper, and they only take 25 beekeepers per year under the Mukhyamantri Vikas Honey Vikas Yojana, Madhu Vikas Yojana. They only take 25 novice or rocky, what I say, rocky or beginner beekeepers. So there is not a rocket science. You need to understand from the basics. It is just like a simple thing. You need to understand what are the varieties, which are the varieties are cultivating, what are the components, what are the protective cases, how you should set up apiary, what are the things you need to mention as a beekeeper, what are the protective measures you need to mention when you open up the cases, how this system works, and what are the components you need to handle it carefully. And these are all the basic things which a beekeeper needs before they start the training. And after the training, they should be acquired with the handling process, in which they are properly trained with the turning of the glass. You need to just uplift the glass without any disturbance. After uplifting the glass, you need to check what are the honey bees, what is the queen bee, uh, why it is called as queen bee, because it is larger in size. It have a small ruby or somewhat dot-like structure over the head, and this is the distinct feature from the other bees. And certain simple formula, just there is only one bee, honey queen bee in the hive. The other the wax should be properly cleaned up after the honey production. The honey should be taken in the honey should be taken in clean and sanitized containers, uh, so that there will be no contamination. There are certain honey-borne diseases also. So in order to prevent that, you need to collect it in a clean and sanitized container. So these are the basic things in which by which a beginner should start uh, providing its simple statement and training from the KVKs. The KVKs are very much helpful. In each and every state, they provide 2 to 3 trainings on the honeybee production, whether practical or whether practical or virtual. You need to understand the concept. After you know the concept, then you will get to know the process and you'll properly acquainted with the whole process. So thank you, ma'am. This is
Okay.
what I think.
Yeah. And what role does research play in developing innovative beekeeping methods?
Research is everywhere. Research is everywhere. This is what I think. Even I am in also R&D department. I am not in cultivation department, but I have a huge, immense desire that I will propound some good products in honey. So innovation is the key to success. That's what Philips said. This is one of the best brands, and innovation is Philips. So innovation is in everywhere. If you do not research, will not get success in this field, because the amount of scope beekeeping has in commercialization is far more less than it has in research. So research has a high value. You need to identify the different molecular markers. The scientists are also been discovering 1 or 2 molecular markers year by year. So there is a profound need to identify molecular markers. By that identification of molecular markers, you can identify several other varieties which are the native varieties or the native honey. And in that honey, it can you can found several medicinal properties which are being higher as compared to that of Manuka honey, which is considered as one of the best honey. So by that you can understand that research is in everywhere. That Bee Hero company analyzing each and every efforts of the beekeepers and identifying problems, and by thinking that they have prepared a model, hexagonal model, which is used as a monitoring device. So these are nothing. These are as research. So you need to research each and every single thing about beekeeping, and you can do research in each and every field. It has no end to research, and research is the ongoing continuous process. So research has huge scope in beekeeping. There are several diseases, which are now be recently discovered. There are certain molecular markers which are being discovered till now, which and the discovery is going on. And there are new food products, the preservation technique, the self-life increasing treatment techniques. These all are nothing but innovations. Innovation is the creativity, how you present. If there is a certain product which has been made by someone, see there are certain modifications by which you can make the product more good or better. So research is the only key by which any student or anyone can scale up to a great height other than commercialization. If someone is asking me about commercialization, yeah, commercialization also has a good scope. If you cultivate honey in a good honey, if you produce honey by cultivating or rearing honeybee at a good amount of land, and you'll sell it at a good price with a marketable dominance, then you can have a good profit margin ratio. But according to me, commercialization of honeybee production comes in my second priority. The first priority is R&D, research and development, because there are certain things which I need in my life, which I have desire, and what are the things I need to do. So research has a huge scope. There's several research scopes in honey. Even there are several scope in formulations also, in adulteration also, the crystallization effects also. Even I have told you that crystallization is because not because of that sugar serum mixing. This is the process of adulteration. Sugar serum mixing is an adulteration process, but the crystallization process is also due to the super saturated glucose, because it's the least saturated or least soluble product in that honey. By that, you can understand there are several scopes or several loopholes in honey production in which you can research and make your research established in the global scientific field. So this is what I think, ma'am.
Okay. And can you share some examples of successful sustainable practices in beekeeping?
One more example I can share, which has been recently shared in the LinkedIn ID of Manage, National Agriculture Management Extension Services. If I'm not wrong, Manage is in Hyderabad. They have funded an organization and they have developed certain products in beekeeping. What I am telling you that popsicles, with I have eaten choki, that that small cylinder like uh, chocolate with gluey inside. It's same like a popsicle. They have done what? They have made three products in bee. They have made one hazelnut and jam. They have made one proper honey with a container, and one more ready to eat honey. In this ready to eat honey, they made what? They made one chalky sides, same slender top, circular pattern uh, case, in which plastic case, it is a plastic case in which they have poured raw honey and they seal it and they pack it in a raw, jute cloth, and they made it their brand, Beehive or Be something. I've recently noticed this, and they have commercialized also. They also registered their company or startup. It's a new startup by some young ones, and they have registered the company under Niti Aayog Startup India, and they have also have licensing of FSSI, FDI for their global licensing, and also been founded in the pre-incubation program and the pre-mentoring plan program by Manage in Hyderabad. In LinkedIn ID, you can see their startup getting funded by the Manage. So this is one of the proven and recent example that how you can sell raw honey just by doing nothing, just selling raw honey in a good packaged product. Just make it ready to use and available to each and everyone around the country. It is an Indian product, and very much happy to tell you that is one of the Indian startups which are being rising very fast and being founded by our Manage in Hyderabad.
Okay. Since we are running short of time, I'll just, if you can answer them all in short, it will be better. So,
Yes,
how
ma'am.
do innovative techniques contribute to the overall health of bee colonies?
The Be Hero, which I have told, it monitors all the device and send that behavioral patterns and the techniques to the databases. And according to that databases, whatever the data recording previously, they tell the user that these are the conditions of honey. Suppose the humidity is high, the pressure is high, the temperature is high. So, in according to that, we need to take protective measures or preventive measures so that the temperature is not increase that much that it will destroy the colony. So, in that, the Bee Hero component or the Bee Hero device comes in play. It serves as a huge significant tool in beekeeping. So, in this way, innovative approaches and innovative devices play a good role in beekeeping.
Okay. And what advancements have been made in beekeeping to improve welfare, bee welfare?
Ma'am, can you
I'll
please
repeat
repeat the
it.
question?
Yeah, yeah. What advancements have been made in hive design to improve bee welfare? Hive,
Bee well,
HIV, hive.
beehive welfare.
Yes.
So, there are certain measures which have been taken by the local farmers that the beehive should not be put in certain places which have a high shiny or high humidity. So it is being regulated in such an area that should have a steady place, and it should be have a temperature of, it should have normal room temperature and not more than 37 degrees Celsius. And beside that, there should be open fields in which you want to have that honey. Suppose I want a monocarpillary honey. I need to pollinate that in mustard field. So we need to have a mustard field within a short distance, within 500 to 600 meters, because the honeybee or it will be a great development and welfare for the honeybees if the field is closer, because the honeybee covers a shorter distance during the time of collection of nectar. So, and several other subsidiaries measures are also being developed by the by the government, including the subsidies which has been provided a lump sum amount to the users or the honeybee keepers to set up an apiary at a good place with high with near market and a good residential or good proper area with all the facilities such as water, soil, good field available near to it. So these are the things which are being of good welfare for the honeybees. And there are certain things which you need to mention. The temperature is a main factor, and there should be no polluted area or polluted industry near the bee, because they are not susceptible to that area. So it will be of great help if the apiary is set up in such a location with those which I have mentioned, that the temperature should be good. It should not be a dampy place. It should be away from industrial areas, and the pollution is less than that of industrial areas. So this will be of great welfare.
Okay. And how can beekeepers stay informed about the latest innovations in the field?
As I have mentioned that beekeepers should also try to enact with the new technologies, but this is only going to possible if the extension services are being done properly. The extension services are being made by the government, but at what cost? It is not been available in several districts. So our extension experts should work with the government and should be put up in each and every district, or a group of districts should have a 2 to 3 extension expert who should make them acknowledge about the new technologies, innovations, and the welfare subsidy, etc., which are being brought up by the government or non-government or private institution to the beekeepers for the benefit. So there is a huge gap of extension expert, and by that gap, these are the things which are not possible right now. So we need to gather informations about how to set up our extension expert by formulating certain policies to our government directly.
Okay. Now we have the last question. And uh, once we complete the question and answer round, can you please display your contact information also, just in case if anybody wants to reach out to you
Mm,
directly?
okay, ma'am. I'll share my. Is it be good that I'll share my LinkedIn ID?
Yeah, yeah, you can do it.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Wait.
So I'll take the last question now. Are there innovative approaches to beekeeping education and training?
Uh, Wait, ma'am. My screen got minimized.
Okay.
Wait. So, ma'am, what's the question?
Are there innovative approaches to beekeeping education and training?
There innovative yes, there are innovative approaches. What I say, there are innovation in each and everything, even starting from the molecular markers to the species we have cultivated, to the type of shelter, to the type of components which we are using for beekeeping, to the techniques which are using, to the components the company has been made. The several other suppose B Hero is one of the company which has used an digital device which used to monitor the uh, system, monitor the activities of the bee. We can also develop a certain device at a less cost with more values by researching what the device do and what the device cannot do. And if we implement such measures, then we can also have a device in the less price, maybe available to the market with by mass production in 1 or 2 years, which would be very much beneficial for the farmers. So thus, innovative approaches are very much vital and is and should be implemented in each and every sectors of honeybee or apiary, and also been promoted by the government through regular trainings, and the extension experts should also facilitate this information to each and everyone.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, Mr. Subhajit, I don't see any more questions from our participants. So now we have come to end of question round. On behalf
I'm
of
sharing my
agriculture-
LinkedIn ID.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it.
I need to share that. I need to share my screen.
Yes,
Okay, okay.
you can.
Sharing screen. Is it visible?
1 second. Yeah.
So this is my LinkedIn ID. If anyone have any questions regarding that, if you didn't understand what I have said, or if you have any confusion in any of the statement which I have made, if I have made any mistakes, then I am sorry from the core of my heart. And if you have any statements or anything which you want to ask, then you feel free to ask me or mail me at Mukherjee Shubhajit 220 @gmail.com. This is my name, Shubhajit Mukherjee. You can find me in LinkedIn. And
Okay.
these are my emails and phone number.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Subhajit. So now we have come to end of question round. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we'd like to thank you for a very detailed presentation and answering all the questions in depth. And we also like to thank all the participants for joining this meeting. The meeting will now be closed. Have a good and safe weekend.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You're most welcome. Thank you.